About a week ago, I was talking on the phone with my aunt, who is a social worker out on the West Coast, where she works with immigrants, with people experiencing homelessness and other at-risk communities. And in the course of that conversation, I'd mentioned to her how one of the things that makes me really sad these days is how hard it can be for people from different backgrounds and with different viewpoints to talk with each other, and how there is so much polarization around us and within us that it can really drive us to see people with different experiences and different opinions as enemies rather than as neighbors who view the world differently than we do. When I said that, my aunt said that she thinks part of the reason that's the case is because we speak so much from our heads and not from our hearts. And when my aunt said that, I had two thoughts. The first thought was, that makes a whole lot of sense. And the second thought I had was, I've got a feeling that speaking from the heart is a lot harder than it sounds. Ever since that conversation, I've been thinking about these two different practices, the practice of speaking from our heads and the practice of speaking from our hearts. And what I'm thinking is that both of these are very important and necessary, but the atmosphere in our society right now encourages us to speak way more from our heads and not nearly enough of speaking from our hearts. And these two practices really are different ways of approaching communication. When we're speaking from our heads, we are up in the realm of ideas and positions. We are making an argument. We are analyzing and articulating our thinking. And often, when we're speaking from our heads, we are trying to win an argument or a debate. And these are important things to be able to do. This is a significant amount of what we teach in our schools. We want people to be able to make intelligent arguments and to be able to articulate their convictions. You need to be able to do these kinds of things to make your way in our world. But speaking from the head is not all that there is. And right now, at this moment, we may need to rediscover the importance of speaking from the heart. Whereas speaking from the head is often about analyzing ideas and getting things right, winning and losing and asserting control, speaking from the heart is about making connections with each other, about building understanding with others, and about sharing yourself with others in addition to sharing your ideas. Heart space absolutely involves sharing ideas, but it is not only about whether a particular idea is right or wrong, but why that idea is important to you. And you can feel the difference between these. Speaking from the heart involves more vulnerability, and it tends to be slower. If you've ever spent much time with small children, you are almost certain to have spent time speaking from the heart, because making connections is what small children are all about. They will need to learn to speak from their heads, but at the moment they are less interested in analyzing and taking apart an idea than they are in showing you what they are doing. In the next week, see if you can notice times when you make a move from speaking from your heart to speaking from your head. you'll be able to feel this switch physiologically. Speaking from the head, head space feels much more defended, whereas heart space feels more open. See if, in the next week, see if you can consciously stay in heart space a little bit longer and see what kind of a difference that makes in your conversations. Friends, be well, and may you experience the fullness of speaking both from your head and from your heart. We'll see you soon.